Welcome back everybody. Today we're going to be going over how to study in medical school. Now this applies to the first 2 years or your preclinical years, where you're mostly just in the classroom and you're writing exams and then moving on to the next block. Now the information you learn in medical school is not particularly hard, it's just the fact that there's a lot of it that makes it tough. So it's very important that you have a routine and a method for studying that works for you. Just for reference, we're at an MD pass-fail school where lectures are not mandatory attendance, so our strategy applies to those conditions, but you can still apply much of it to a different setup. Now before we get started, you just have to keep in mind that getting into residency, especially the more competitive the specialty, is much like getting into medical school in the sense that you have to do hard things that you won't feel like doing that other people aren't willing to do in order to separate yourself. And that brings us to point number 1, which is to pre-read your lectures and make flashcards or notes the day before. So the day before the lecture, you want to go through the posted slide deck and understand the major concepts that the lecture is trying to teach. Again, most of these concepts are not intellectually difficult to understand as long as they're presented in an organized fashion. Whatever you don't understand, you can use YouTube videos to have the concept explained to you further, or textbooks if that's how you prefer to learn. Now as you go through the lecture slides, you want to make Anki flashcards, which we have a tutorial on. Now we really recommend that you use Anki because they have the whole spaced repetition thing figured out, but if you really don't like it and you like doing notes, then take notes. But the idea is that this method forces you to actively learn the material, as you have to understand it yourself and make the flashcards or notes yourself. Now it's harder to do this than passively sitting through a lecture like everybody else and cramming at the end, but it's a much better way that's going to save you a ton of time and a lot of stress. Now on the topic of saving a ton of time, like we said, our school is not mandatory attendance for classes, so we suggest, if that's the case for you, don't go to class. If you've read through the lectures and made the flashcards and it's the day of lectures, if your school requires mandatory attendance or you prefer going to class because you like it better, then go ahead. Our school offers recordings of the lectures, which we watch at about 1.5 or 2 times the speed. Now whether you go or not, this is going to be the second time that you're exposed to the same information, and now all you have to do is make flashcards or notes on the points that the professor emphasizes or anything that confused you. You can do this by going to class and paying attention to the lecture rather than frantically making notes and flashcards on the main concepts, because you've already done that. Now after this second exposure to the material and making additional notes and flashcards, you're going to do these flashcards or review your notes after this lecture day. Now again, in the moment this is going to be annoying to do, but it's going to pay off in the long run. Now as far as the framework, these 2 points are going to be how you learn and memorize the information throughout the block. At our school, each block is about 6 weeks, so for the first 4 to 5 weeks, we do these 2 things while attending mandatory clinical sessions or discussions that help to reinforce the information. But when you're about a week or a week and a half out from the exam, you want to shift your focus heavily to focus on practice questions and applying what you've learned rather than just learning. Now most schools have practice questions that they provide for students, otherwise you can use online resources like UWorld or Boards and Beyond. Now do these questions at your own pace and try to get through as much as you can without burning out. The best way to reinforce information is to apply it and make sure you know how to use it. And whatever you get wrong, go over those things, as that's probably a hole in your knowledge. Ultimately, the exam is going to be about applying the knowledge that you've learned, and so is being a doctor, so you need to get into this habit early. Now the next thing is the cheat sheet method. So about 2 to 4 days before the exam, you're going to grab a sheet of paper and open the original lectures. Until this point, there should be no need to review lectures after you've already made the initial flashcards or notes. Now you want to go through everything one last time, noting down only major concepts and hard to memorize details like equations or specific facts that might be hard to keep track of. Now your cheat sheet should only be about 1 page, so don't try to put everything on there, just high yield information. Now from this point until the exam, you're only going to study from this cheat sheet and do any remaining practice that you have. If you see holes in your knowledge, through wrong answers to questions, then go back and learn only that specific information from the source material. Now, last but not least, don't sweat the small stuff. As pre-meds, you basically need to be as close to perfect as you can be, but in medical school, this really isn't the case. You should still try your best to achieve the best grades you can, but the most important thing here is understanding major concepts of physiology and disease processes, not really knowing every minute detail. Now, if you're aiming for a very competitive specialty, or your school isn't pass-fail, they actually have grades and honors and things like that, then yes, you're gonna have to put in that extra grind to memorize the minute details. But if your school is also pass-fail, then you should aim to understand major concepts and do well on the exams, but build your residency application through extracurriculars and research, as well as performance on your clinical rotations rather than just high grades. No one is going to reward you for unnecessarily making things harder on yourself, so it's okay to get a few questions wrong because they were based on minute, frustratingly specific details, as long as you're grasping the major concepts and why you got the question wrong. So this is the advice we have for you today. We hope it helped you guys out, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.